Okay, so who is live? Who is online tonight? It's a Saturday night, by the way. So, okay. All right. So, who else is online? I'll just have to. अस्सलाम वालेकुम फारूक, कैसे हो? ठीक है? I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so let's guys, I hope your weekend is going on. In fact, I'm sure there are a lot of things happening. Okay, so I'm sure everybody has a weekend to be enjoying. Not everybody is doing live videos like I do. Well, एक तो सर्दी है, दूसरी बात है कि शहर में सन्नाटा है. So I think that gives a perfect idea for a Saturday where I can just come live and talk to all of you and ask how's the weekend, how's life in general. I hope you guys are dealing with the COVID stress like normally. So yes, so let me take my friend. Okay, let me take my friend on the call. So, because, yeah, happy weekend, Ahmed. Happy weekend. Yes. So, okay, so Khabar has joined in. I have sent the invite to Humaira, our friend. Hi, Saqib. Saqib just joined. Okay. So, this weekend, we are going to talk about setting boundaries. I think this was my much talked about topic about how to set boundaries in professional and personal life. So asked my friend Homera. She is joining me live today from Calgary, Canada. She's had extensive experience on working with, human rights foundations, and she's a very, very hardworking social activist. So, hi, Homera.
I'm
How are you?
for you. Thank you.
How are you? Wow, good to see you after a long time.
That's true. How many years?
Yeah.
7 years?
So right now, we have some people who have joined us, and Memuna has also joined in. Let also, yeah. So let me just also message our group that we are live because actually everybody was kind of staying up late. So let us just message. So Vera, do you want to wait for more people to join in, or do you want to start off right now?
No,
What
I
do you
think
do? You're the
wait.
guest today.
I can wait.
Yeah, yes, we love you too, Maimuna. We love you too. We love you too. Guys, our school friends have joined us. Hi, Fatima. Hi, Razak. How are you? Amir. Well, yeah. So I'm just reading out the comments here. So everybody's giving a thumbs up. Guys, I hope you have a great Saturday night. Our Saturday night was all about getting live and doing a live session with all of you and asking about how you guys are feeling. So yeah, so that's about it. I hope you guys are having a great time, and you guys are dealing with COVID restrictions and lockdown in different areas of the world. I think I have some people joining in from UK, some people joining in from UAE. So I hope the situation is not as tough as the news tell us. So Fahad, this is the live session about. So me and Humera, we're going to talk about setting boundaries. And hi, Ahmad. So we are going to talk about setting boundaries and how has it worked both for men and women in their personal and professional life. So I think, yeah, this is what we're going to talk about. Let me just see if we have more guests joining in. So we are live on. Okay, so I think it's pretty late in the night, but I'm sure everybody is online. Yeah, so Humera, how was your weekend? How's your weekend going by? So weekend night there in weekend morning actually there in Calgary as well. So
Uh,
how's it started for you?
it's yeah, I just woke up. It's been with COVID and with COVID restrictions and guidelines in place, and my work is such that we have to be there for the community all the time. So it's tough. Yeah, but we're hanging on. So let's see, just hanging in there, just like you guys. So we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah, let's see what
So how
2020.
is it going? So how's it going about? Do we have a strict lockdown there in Calgary as well? Are the schools open, closed?
There is a
Yes,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, it's okay. I'm just kind of reading, comments here as well. So please, yes. So tell us about how's the lockdown going on in Calgary.
We have a lockdown, but it's not a complete lockdown right now that's in place. Our schools, like face-to-face learning, is on for grade from kindergarten to grade 7, and then 7 to 12 is online learning. So my kids are going to school.
Okay.
Also, like vet salons, gyms, restaurant, everything else is closed. Only essential businesses like grocery stores and malls, they are opened for now. Cases are
Mm-hmm.
they were increasing a lot when this second phase of corona started, but now they are, I wouldn't say they're decreasing, they're still there. But yeah, with the lockdown in place, things have become a bit better, but still
Yeah.
not. Essential travel is like totally discouraged. We're not allowed to go anywhere without masks. Indoor gatherings or outdoor gatherings are totally prohibited. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's there, and that's how we all of us are. We've been living for almost a year now, right? So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad, but I hope it gets a bit better with the new year starting. So we are hopeful that in about 4 or 5 months' time the vaccine takes over and and it gets a bit better. So guys who've just joined us in, we're doing a live session and we are going to talk about the much hyped up topic, which is setting boundaries, both for men and women. How has setting boundaries worked for both men and women in their professional and personal lives? So, Humaira Falak has joined us all the way from Calgary, Canada, and she's such a hard worker, social activist, and she's been working in Canada for the last decade. So, Humaira, would you just introduce yourself professionally so that we can just start off? And I think a lot of people have joined us already. So yeah, let's get the show started. Let's get the show running. Yeah.
So once again, Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. My name is Humaira Falak, and first off, thank you, Mahvish, for inviting me to this amazing show of yours. I've been in Calgary
Okay.
for more than 7 years now. I work with nonprofit organizations basically here. My main work is around preventing domestic violence and creating healthy relationships and building awareness around how to create healthy relationships, and also helping immigrants and newcomers with their mental health issues and again their family issues and in the process
Yeah.
settlement and integration. Yeah, that's about it. I have my master's in English literature from Connect College, Lahore, and then I have my diploma in human services from here in Calgary. Right now, I'm doing my master's in community development, which hopefully I will end this year. And yeah, and I have two girls, and pretty much
Yeah.
this is about my life. Yeah.
Great, great. So, Humaira, I'm sure since you have been working on your own since about quite some time, and and of course, I've also been working for almost 15 years now, so it's been 15 long years. So, I generally felt, that men and women at our workplace, both in our professional life and in our personal life, हम बहुत ज़्यादा हमसे एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है कि हम अपने बाउंड्रीज में रहें या हम अपने बाउंड्रीज के इर्द गिर्द ही हम लोग मॉनिटर करके हम लोग अपने जो रोल्स को परफॉर्म करें तो first of all can you actually define what these boundaries are and when we say define just अगर आप because हर एक बंदे के लिए different context होता है so, how would you define this as basically setting boundaries? What would you mean when you say we have set up boundaries for ourselves?
Yeah, for sure. So boundary is basically in a very simple, in simple terms, I would say it's basically a space or a limit between you and the other person. So it is where
Mm-hmm.
you begin and the other person ends. And we create boundaries around us to protect our own emotional, mental well being, even our physical well being as well. And दोबारा से एक बार बता देती हूँ कि बाउंड्री हम लोग बाउंड्री बेसिकली हम लोग क्रिएट करते हैं अपनी मेंटल, अपनी इमोशनल और अपनी फिजिकल वेलबींग को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए और ये बहुत ज़रूरी भी है. सो बेसिकली जो बाउंड्रीज है दे इंक्लूड द फिजिकल बाउंड्री would include if somebody is standing, a violation would include if somebody is standing too close to you, and you are getting uncomfortable with that. If somebody is touching you inappropriately, and also without your consent, that's a
Right.
also looking through your phones, looking through your personal documents, and no matter how close you are to that person, but if you're not comfortable with that, that clearly comes in, that is clearly a violation of your personal boundaries. So that's with the physical boundary. Now I'll talk about emotional boundaries that most of us do not even talk about. We ourselves don't even recognize when it's being violated because we are so used to living,
Right.
certain kind of life that we forget that how emotional boundaries are. So emotional boundaries are basically separating your feelings from other people's feeling, taking responsibility of other people's choices, other people's behavior, feeling guilty
Right.
for the other person upset, or you feel that you are responsible to for their choices that they are making in life, right? So and you allow other person to dictate you as to to, like, for instance, you're allowing somebody to prioritize their needs and they want you to put your needs and wants behind, right? And
Yes. This is
then
what we're all expected to do, basically. Our society is basically, this is what everybody is expecting us to do. So, yeah, you're right.
it as well that some people then they would blame you for not giving them enough importance, or
Yep.
for you being too selfish to keep yourself first, or yeah, so all these things. So basically, just before we go to another question, when you set strong boundaries, you're protecting your self-esteem. When we define very clear boundaries, it helps us in enhancing self-confidence. Also, it helps us in preserving our own identity as an
Mhm.
individual, which is very
Yeah.
important, right? So yeah.
True, true. So, Humaira, you just kind of आपने बहुत अच्छा elaborate किया है कि किस तरह physical boundaries और emotional boundaries जो है हमारी work place में और professional life में और personal life में हमारी जो है वो demonstrate हो सकती हैं. So, अभी I was just पता है मैं पढ़ रही थी. I was just reading. There was an article in the magazine that just kind of उसमें यही था कि setting boundaries, like if I have very strong boundaries and I'm expected to say no to any unreasonable request. जैसे for example, उस दिन मैंने अपने ऑफिस में एक मेरा कॉलीग था, he was we're on friendly terms, but उसने मुझे कोई काम कहा out of the blue and I could not do it because I was actually busy doing my own stuff, right? So I just said no. Acha, so having a no from me comes at a big shock to my team because I've never said no to anything. I've kind of like, हाँ मैं ये भी कर लूँगी, let's all work this together. And so he was kind of taken aback. He's like, यार मावश ने तो मुझे ना कह दिया. So although I was tempted to say yes, मैं सोचती रही कि यार मैं रात को जाकर उसका काम कर दूंगी तो सुबह उसकी presentation ready होगी. But I deliberately said no कि यार मेरा अपना काम है. First I will finish my work and then I will take his work up, and that even means staying up late in the night for my work basically. So आप इस बारे में अब देखो ना, अब उसने तो मुझे जज कर लिया, ठीक है. He was shocked and he was gossiping के यार she's not a team player. तो मेरे ऊपर एक टैग लग गया उस दिन कि भाई I'm not a team player. तो how do you want women, and even I'm sure men are also judged. It's not that women are judged, only men are also judged. How would you handle a situation like this जब आपको पता है कि you're right और आपने boundary एक set की है and you're right and the other person does not respect that boundary for you? How would you involve इसमें, because आपके intimate relationships भी आ जाते हैं, आपके personal relationships भी आ जाते हैं, क्योंकि अगर आपका partner है and if your husband or if your friend does not really respect your boundaries, so that's where you are like, you would lose yourself right there. तो आपको फिर एक गिल्ट फीलिंग अजीब सी होने लगती है कि यार मैंने अपनी बाउंड्री सेट की हुई थी and no one is respecting that. How would you respond to this question? How would you respond to the situation?
So it's going back to lack of awareness. So basically, I think as a society, we struggle with boundaries itself. We are not really aware of what healthy boundaries are and how important they are, as I said earlier, in preserving our own identity and for our emotional and mental well-being. And it goes for both men and women. It's the same. And sometimes I also feel that in South Asian context, if I look at it that way, men sometimes suffer more when it comes to boundaries, especially if they're coming from enmeshed families or enmeshed trauma, which I'm just going to touch briefly later in our conversation. But yes, so what you said is like, I think again it starts from a very early on. Now you're an educator yourself, right? So teaching children very early stage about setting boundaries by allowing themselves to express themselves openly, verbalizing their feelings, their emotions, what they want, definitely helps. So we need to, as parents, as educators, as community workers, we need to emphasize on the need of instilling in this in our children from a very early age. The reason being because we were not raised that way.
Yeah.
We and people around us were not aware of this while growing up. So hence we struggle with boundaries, right? We don't know when we have to say no. We don't know if we should say no, if that would look good, as you just
People are
mentioned.
generally very confused, Humaira. People are, I mean, जिस तरह से हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, लोगों को ये भी नहीं पता होता कि बाउंड्रीज ऐसी रखने वाली कौन सी है. तो आपकी वही वाली बात आ गई, जनरल लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस वाली बात आ गई. ट्रू,
ये
you're right. Yes.
एग्जैक्टली. सो जैसे मैंने आपको कहा कि जो बाउंड्रीज हैं बेसिकली ये वो एक इनविजिबल फोर्स फील्ड है हमारे अराउंड जो हमारी अपनी प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. और आप जब देखिए कि जो बाउंड्रीज को क्रॉस हो रही है ना तो इट शोज वीकनेस ऑन बोथ द साइड्स. सो इफ यू आर more than willing to sacrifice your time, your wants, your emotion for other person, it may show that you are in need of love, in a desperate need of love, or being accepted in those that you are surrounded with or you hang out with. So basically, again, it goes back to your childhood, how you were raised as a person, right? If you were given enough confidence, if you were given enough I know, like, I know you from a very early age, and you know me, like, we were raised in a household where I think we had enough privacy, where our parents respected our personal space. Like, they would not even enter our rooms without our permission, and I think that's the reason that we are able to verbalize our needs, and now like professionally as well, because our identities were not suppressed. But again, we were, though despite that, we were part of a culture, we are still part of a culture where a lot is expected from women. We are not expected to say no. We are always expected to put others first, be it in our family, be it in our
That's
career.
correct.
We are
Yes.
always, that's there, that's in the background as well. So no matter how independent I feel I am, even while in Canada, I do struggle with this, right? I do struggle with saying no to
Everybody. Yeah.
my friends. So again, it all comes to changing the mindset, and again, making people aware of how important these boundaries are, right? So yeah, so, and in workplaces as well, I think there has to be some, here we do sort of kind of, there are very clear guidelines around do's and don'ts, with your colleagues especially. So I think we should have that in there as well. If you don't have
Yeah.
time, if you feel, do not overcommit, that's there, and the bosses and the workplaces and your colleagues,
I
they should.
can understand. Yeah, because sometimes bosses they go like they're very biased towards. By the way, I would just like to take this moment to say hello to everybody who has recently joined us. Nawaf, Tanya, Khatija, and a lot of other people who have just joined us. Omar, welcome, guys. Just as a recap, we are discussing about how to set boundaries and how has setting boundaries impacted both male and female in personal and professional life. So, Humaira, like I was saying कि हमारी society में या generally एक South Asian society में एक समझा जाता है कि women are expected always to say yes to everything. They are overburdened with work, and when they और जब वो काम because they are not expected to stay late hours, लेकिन अगर वो late hours करती भी हैं, so they are never ever treated equally basically. So और फिर ये होता है कि they are expected to work on the weekends, and जब promotions लेते वक्त time आता है तो उनको फिर as compared to the male colleagues उनको bonuses भी कम दिए जाते हैं, increments भी कम किए जाते हैं. So the people blame them for कि अच्छा हाँ ये फजूल में काम करती थी, she did not have boundaries, कुछ इस तरह की बात. So, do you encounter situation like this ever? Did you ever encounter situation like this, जिसमें you were expected to behave or to have a boundary, but उसमें you were judged as not having boundary actually. इसी तरह के, your bosses were like they misjudged you.
I'm more
Did you come
uh,
across?
not exactly my professional life, to be honest, but जो आप बात कर रही हो ना, gender disparity की, not having equal wages or not having the same rights at the workplace, that's common all over the world. It's there, it's prevalent, right? Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
we right, it's more like our elected representatives, they talk about it. There are policies around this, protection of rights in the workplace. So here things are better in a way that there are rules and things that are in place, right? But gender,
Right.
there, it's here as well. There is definitely जिसको हम कहते हैं division of labor between women and men. वो यहाँ पे भी है कि child rearing responsibility definitely comes onto women. Then the time that they spend at homes while raising their kids, that's kind of उनकी promotion में, it's kind of an hindrance आप कह लो, जब when they come back to workplace, right? So वो चीजें अभी यहाँ पे भी हैं, और उस पे भी people are fighting over it कि इसको किस तरह हम equal करें. लेकिन obviously back home वो ज्यादा है again वहाँ पे, क्योंकि हमारा perception, and without offending anyone, obviously we come from a very patriarchal culture, right, where a lot is expected from women, like if they're
Yeah.
working outside, they're still expected to come back and work at home as well. They're still expected to raise kids. So all of this comes, even if they are contributing financially, but still they are expected to do household chores as well, and raise kids. And men somehow, they are okay if they do not take part in हाउस होल्ड एक्टिविटीज, राइट, क्योंकि हमने हमारा कल्चर ऐसा है कि हम उनको अलाउ करते हैं जाने के लिए। तो अगेन वही चीजें कि ये तो माइंडसेट चेंज करने से ही बदलती हैं, जब हम बहुत अर्ली ऑन अपने बच्चों को सिखाना शुरू कर देते हैं, लड़कों को भी लड़कियों को भी, अबाउट हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स, हाउ दे आर क्रिएटेड विदाउट क्रॉसिंग बाउंड्रीज, विदाउट क्रॉसिंग
Yeah.
लिमिट्स, pressing
And
the in both
respecting
ways.
each and everybody's space around you,
Yeah,
basically.
fact,
Yeah.
Allah ka shukar hai, I never went because when I was in Pakistan, I was in teaching, and then here I'm working for a nonprofit. And in nonprofits, mostly we have women, and even if we have men colleagues, they are very understanding. And for a person like myself who is raising two kids on her own, obviously I do look at the flexibility of hours. I have some issues that could come up, right? And I have no family here to support me, but I'm blessed that I work in a place where my colleagues, my bosses are very supportive of this. But again, yes, in a personal relationship, definitely, I've been through times where I was totally lost because it was all about the other person. It was never about me. It was not about what I wanted. It was about, and I struggled with that. I struggled with those feelings of guilt. I struggled with
Yeah.
years, and I know,
Yeah.
so you would know that your boundaries are being crossed when you feel a lot of anxiety, when you feel resentment, because these are, even if you don't
These
admit
are
it,
apparent symptoms that everybody
you,
forgets to acknowledge, or everybody refuses to acknowledge कि अगर आपकी boundary cross हो रही है, या अगर कोई बंदा या बंदी आपकी space को intrude कर रहा है, तो anxiety attacks,
guilt,
depression,
right? It becomes
uneasiness,
happiness. And depression is actually a body's way of saying no.
reaction.
And we don't pay
Yeah.
attention to that, but your body is definitely resisting to something, or is saying no. It's screaming loudly, if you take it that way, your body, but you don't listen to that. So that is why you would start feeling that if you're feeling because in a healthy relationship, you wouldn't feel any of these things. You wouldn't feel being suppressed. You wouldn't feel being suffocated. You wouldn't feel anxious that if you're gonna talk about your needs and wants to your partner, that would damage your relationship, or it could sabotage your relationship. No, in a healthy relationship, both the partners should be able to express themselves very openly. Even they should
Yeah.
be able to have difficult conversations with each other frankly, right? That's one of
Yes.
a very strong foundation.
Conversation about it कि ये मेरी boundary है, and this might not, and this should not be crossed. So I think a friendly conversation with people around you, that also kinds of थोड़ा सा आप ease पे आ जाते हो. Like for example, when I sit with my team, they know कि मेरी space क्या है, and how that space can be can be best respected. So I communicate openly with my team as well. But somehow when you have somebody new in your team who doesn't know you well, that person kind of does tend to take advantage. But that's like happens everywhere. Umaira, moving on to our, okay, so let me say, and let me just welcome our new joiners. I think we have Ayusha, Anas, Mariam, Ali, Faisal. Hey guys, everyone again, we are discussing about setting boundaries both for male and female in personal and professional life. So मेरा personal life की तरफ अब आते हैं. So it is normally very misunderstood के especially women के women with lack of boundaries, or even women with boundaries, they are expected to be available. They are expected कि जी यार मैं इस बंदी से conversation करूँगा, so I'll probably just get to know her or whatsoever it is. फिर जब बंदी आगे से एक थोड़ा सा एक rejection का थोड़ा सा देती है कि no, I'm not comfortable, or what is it, so उसमें थोड़े से बंदी को जज भी कर लेते हैं, और फिर वो बंदी की बड़ी एक सीरियस मिस्टेक बन जाती है, and she is made to regret for the rest of her life. Whereas similarly, if a guy has he's okay and he's friendly, people would perceive him to be a very friendly individual. But if he is snob and if he doesn't want to talk to anybody, not necessarily meaning a snob कि मतलब अगर वो बात नहीं करना चाह रहा है, तो लोग उसको perceive करेंगे कि यार इसकी nature ऐसी है, या ये इतना arrogant है. तो what do you have to say to this कि मतलब आप बाउंड्रीज रख के भी पछता रही हैं, जो लड़कियां हैं और लड़के हैं, और बाउंड्रीज ना रख के भी पछता रहे हैं, सो ये बड़ी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सिचुएशन नहीं है
I
थी?
I think boundaries, जैसे मैंने कहा, boundaries तो होनी चाहिए, right? Again, हम लोग भी are going back to where we started, basically, that it's all about, you know, the culture that we are coming from, right? And the understanding of boundaries. And we don't really understand boundaries. That's the thing. We don't even talk about it. There is a sense of entitlement. And especially when it comes to women, we feel that, you know, women, if we are there, if she is single, or if she appears to be single, we tend to take her for granted, right? We think that it's a right to invade her personal space, even if she's
Yes,
even
yes, everybody does. She's
there is
expected to be available. She's expected to respond to you. She's expected to, respond to your hellos and highs and all.
but that
Yes.
this is perpetuated by, you know, our media as well. जब आप फिल्म्स देखते हैं जिसमें ये बात है कि हाँ, अगर लड़की ना कह रही है यार, ये तो हाँ ही है, इसको स्टॉक करो, इसके पीछे, eventually she will give in, she will say yes.
Exactly. अब वो जरा सा हंस रही है अगर आपके साथ, तो आपने उसको परसीव कर लिया कि oh, she's like all into me. Yeah.
तो यू नो हम उसके अंदर भी यही है कि एक जनरल, देयर इज अ लैक ऑफ जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट, अगेन, रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ अदर पर्सन's space and other person's privacy, right? If somebody conveys to you that she is not, or he is not interested, either they do it through their body language or they verbally tell you, just take no for no. There is no hidden yes in it. If she is interested in you,
Nice.
trust
Take no
that.
for no. Take
Yeah.
no for no and take a yes at the yes. So yes, don't go about talking about stories and making stories. Yes,
Exactly.
true. Yes.
You would know that she's interested. So uh, we should not be living, even as women, we should not be living in that in that make believe world of our own, where we think that if somebody's saying no, if he persists, that person would eventually say yes. That's a very wrong approach. We should be talking, start, as you've mentioned it. It's good that you're mentioning it, because we should be talking about these issues, right? It's unhealthy for younger girls now, especially because they're in schools and colleges and entering into workforce, and they're going through all of this, and it's very unhealthy. That makes them scared as well. We have to have a very supportive environment. We have to have very supportive environment where
Humaira, this is not just about girls, it's about guys as well. I see them very nervous, I see them very scared. So it's basically on both the levels that they are scared to be misperceived. एक तो पहली बात है, जो हमारे बच्चे हैं या जो नई नई जॉब्स पे करते हैं, सो उनको एक फेयर ये भी होता है कि वो दे विल नॉट बी एक्सेप्टेड, सबसे पहली बात. If they will have boundaries, they will not be accepted. No one will understand them, और हर कोई उनको misunderstand करेगा. I know a lot of girls and guys who actually think like that when they join a new company, but later on उनके वो walls build होते हैं और उनका वो trust level maintained होता है. So I think this is a very good point that first of all you have to communicate, guys. Setting boundaries, when you set boundaries, the first step is that you communicate and you make the other person aware that this is where my boundary is. Please don't step in. I think this is a very clear. अगर वो बंदा तब भी आपको misperceive करे, तब भी आपको misunderstand करे, that's his problem. That's not your problem anymore. आपने उसको communicate कर दिया. अब वो चाहे misunderstand करे या वो misperceive करे आपको, that should not be a problem. What do you say, Humaira? What do you say to this?
Exactly, that's right. यहाँ पे मैं एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात करूंगी कि देखिए, जो फैमिलीज होती है ना, वो बेसिकली, जैसे मैंने कहा, आपका जो अर्ली डेवलपमेंट है, आप जिन फैमिलीज में बड़े होते हैं, दे डिटर्मिन द course of rest of your life, right? And so that is the healthy relationships in a family, in your biological family or the family that you're raised in. It's very important. Amara,
Yeah.
let's talk about South Asian within South Asian context. वहाँ पे क्या चक्कर है कि हम लोग इसको टर्म यूज करते हैं enmeshed families, right? और enmeshed trauma. उसमें ये है कि in families where boundaries are not clearly defined, where parents, जहाँ पे आपने parents से disagree किया, or if there is different opinion, you are considered to be disrespectful. You can be punished for that, or you are shunned for that. So वो चीजें जब शुरू से पेरेंट्स बच्चों में डालना शुरू हो जाते हैं, जहाँ पे उनकी सेंस ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, उनकी अपनी इंडिविजुअल आइडेंटिटी खत्म होना शुरू हो जाती है, वहां से ये चीज खराब होती है. बिकॉज देन व्हेन दे ग्रो अप दे स्टिल फील, और ये होता है हमारे यहाँ के एडल्ट बच्चों को भी, आप they're expected to be more, how do I put it? They're expected to be more loyal towards
Yeah.
their siblings, their parents, than to their spouse or their children. ये इधर से बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं, क्योंकि उसमें ये होता है कि जो स्पेशली बात करती हूँ कि वो बेचारे इसमें ज्यादा सफर करते हैं, because they are the ones going through a lot of guilt that maybe they are, if they are on their partner's side, if they are spending time with their spouse or their kids, they are being unfair towards their parents or their siblings, right? तो वो बेचारे इस गिल्ट में पड़ जाते हैं. तो अगेन वही बात आ जाती है कि ये बहुत कॉमन है हमारी साउथ एशियन फैमिलीज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, जहाँ पे बैलेंस नहीं है. टोटली बैलेंस अचीव हो सकता है, दोनों साइड्स खुश रह सकती हैं, और फिर या दूसरी तरफ भी हो सकता है कि आपका पार्टनर इतना डोमिनेटिंग है, आपका स्पाउस इतना डोमिनेटिंग है कि वो आपको अपनी फैमिली के साथ इंटरेक्ट नहीं करने दे रही है या मिलने नहीं दे रहे हैं, राइट? सो अगेन that's in both the cases there is a violation of boundary. अभी उसमें क्या है कि अगर शुरू से ही पेरेंट्स में इतना कॉन्फिडेंस बच्चों में डाल रहे हैं, उनको रेज ऐसे कर रहे हैं कि बच्चे हेल्दी वे में, if they're allowed to communicate and set clear boundaries within their family and outside their family, when they grow up they can totally establish healthy boundaries with relationships outside their families. जो बच्चे शुरू में within family struggle करते हैं boundaries को लेके or to express themselves openly, वो बच्चे बड़े होके unfortunately बहुत healthy relationships बना नहीं पाते, just because कि वो either they are desperate, because in either case they are in desperate need of being accepted, of being loved. So either they would sacrifice a lot, or they would play victim all their lives to get their love, or that that their emotional need being fulfilled by the other person. So in both ways, either if you're a victim or you're an abuser, in both ways the problem is that there are boundaries that are being violated. You're not sure about your boundaries, you're not sure about other person's boundaries.
And is it also because आपके बचपन से ही जब आपने देखा boundaries आपकी violate हो रही हैं, you were okay with it, you never learned to speak, and then when it got to the stage when you are having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, ये चीज बहुत ज्यादा आगे जाके बिगड़ जाती है.
Oh yeah,
You're right.
आप देखो,
Yeah, you're right.
अगेन जैसे हमने पहले बात किया, जैसे डिप्रेशन है, एंजाइटी है, ये अब बहुत बढ़ गया है. और अब कीजिए क्योंकि बिकॉज एज सून एज वी फील दैट वी आर नॉट बीइंग हर्ड, एज सून एज वी ट्राई टू सप्रेस आवर ओन नीड्स, आवर ओन इमोशंस, दो we are we pretend to be and it's okay to be on the giving side, right? It's okay to be on the giving side. It's okay to give love. It's okay to be there for somebody else, but you cannot be always on the giving side. If you're doing that, then definitely there is something wrong with you. You're not sure about your own identity. You have a very weak self-esteem or very weak self-confidence or a sense of identity. And on the other hand as well, if you are forcing other people to do what you want, if you are playing victim all the time, if you are complaining, if you are blaming others for your own actions, हम बहुत ज्यादा अब्यूसिव रिलेशनशिप्स में सुनते हैं कि ओके दूसरा पार्टनर आपको बोलेगा मुझे गुस्सा आता है क्योंकि तुम ऐसा करते हो, ये तुम ऐसे करती हो. नहीं, आपको गुस्सा आता है क्योंकि आप एग्जैक्टली आपको पता नहीं है कि आप क्या चाहते हो और आपकी बाउंड्रीज क्या है. आपको दूसरे, इफ यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट योरसेल्फ, if you have clear sense of your own boundaries, trust me, you wouldn't. मुझे गुस्सा आता है, to be honest, मैं जब घर पे हूँ, बच्चों पे मुझे गुस्सा आता है when my work is not being done, जब चीजें मेरे हाथ से निकल रही हैं, घर पे सफाई नहीं हुई है, मेरा ऑफिस का काम भी पड़ा है, मेरी पढ़ाई भी अफेक्ट हो रही है, मैं गुस्सा बच्चों पे निकाल रही हूँ. उसमें बच्चों का एक्शन बेसिकली जब मैं सोचती हूँ वो नहीं,
there's something going wrong with you and you end to transfer the blame to somebody else. So I'll take, I don't know, Ahmed has been commenting here on a lot many times. So starting off, Well, he wants to focus much on intimate relationships. That okay, Ahmed. We do want to discuss personal and professional lives here, but okay. So I'll still going to read your comment, Ahmed. You're writing, when we are nice guys, we are ignored. When we are alphas, we are narcissist boyfriends. Ladies, please make up your mind about what you actually want. Then at other point, Ahmed writes, why is it ladies always try to impose boundaries midway through the relationships, while after falling head over heels for guys who are hyper masculine and leading the charge at start?
That is,
Wow.
yeah, that,
Okay.
yeah, he's absolutely right. Why would we want to establish boundaries in a, somewhere in the middle of a relationship? Be clear as to what
Yeah,
we
he's right. Ahmed, you're right. Yes.
start,
If somebody is doing
right?
that
We
midway
are
through
following
relationships, someone has a problem. Yes.
meshed आइडेंटिटीज हैं लड़कियों की भी हम लोग बेसिकली वी आर अगेन मीडिया इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट प्ले करता है हम लोग शुरू से नॉवल जैसे पढ़ते हैं जहाँ पे हमारा नाइट इन द शाइनिंग आर्मर इज ऑलवेज वेरी डोमिनेटिंग somebody who would take charge of our who would decide for us. So जब हम ऐसे बंदे के साथ obviously we would get attracted with that kind of a person. So once you are in a relationship, फिर midway में जाके हम लोगों को लड़कियों को problems होने शुरू हो जाती हैं क्योंकि mid में भी ये होता है कि when honeymoon phase is over, then you would start realizing, oh, you have your own identity as
Yeah,
well.
you wake up, you start having identity crisis के, where am I stuck? Why am I stuck? तो बात हमारा हमारी पहली वाली बात आ जाती है कि यहाँ पे हमारी कम्युनिकेशन लैक कर रही होती है. हमें पहले से ही बता देना चाहिए था कि यार ये मेरी बाउंड्री है,
But
तो प्लीज
it's way more
मेरी
complicated
बाउंड्री को
than
रिस्पेक्ट करें,
yeah, but if we are not aware of our boundaries ourselves, we might not be even aware. Because again, yeah, it goes back to where I said from early development, आपका childhood, where these things where you should be aware of what you need, of your own identity as an individual, your wants from a very early age. अगर वो ही नहीं आपको बताए गए, आपको समझ ही नहीं है उनकी, तो फिर पूरा लाइफ फिर आप sway करेंगे ही करेंगे. So yeah, again, it brings us back to those enmeshed traumas or enmeshed families. ये सारा ये origin वहीं से ही है. And then again, lack of awareness. The more we talk about these issues, the more we will consciously think about these issues. And it all starts from conscious thinking. If we need to change something within ourselves, or if we need to change something within the society, we have to start talking about it and thinking about it consciously कि हमारी कहाँ गलती है या अगले बंदे की कहाँ गलती है. And that's where it begin to change.
It's more or less also, I think if we are to, I'll just say hello to Hassan and wow, there's so many people logged in, even from UK and USA. All right, so Isa, hi Isa, Batul has joined us. So yes, a lot many people. Hi guys, just as a recap, and we are actually going to just summarize, and we are way towards wrapping up our live session about setting boundaries both in personal and professional life. So Humaira, just to sum up the key points here. So first of all, communication is the key. आप पहले तो रिफ्लेक्ट करें कि आपकी बाउंड्रीज क्या हैं हर चीज को करते वक्त. If you are a professional, you are working, you are studying, you are as a daughter, as a friend, as a partner, as any of your role in life, आपको पहले ये सोचना चाहिए अर्ली एज से स्टार्ट होते हुए. आई थिंक आपको बच्चों को भी ये आइडिया करना चाहिए दैट हाउ टू क्रिएट योर ओन बाउंड्रीज and how to set up your own boundaries. अच्छा मेरा ख्याल से it's very well said कि आपको पहले बच्चे को ये एहसास कराना चाहिए या अपने जो individuals हैं आपके इर्द गिर्द घर में that they are important, they are special, and nobody can just trample over them for any good reason or for their benefit or for somebody else's benefit. First of all, ये आपका घर से ही start होता है पहले. What do you say?
Mutual respect, setting of boundaries, what healthy relationships are. All of this starts from a very early age. Again, from the families that you're raised in, be it your biological or if in even in the cases of your foster parents or if you're adopted, जहाँ पे आपकी परवरिश हो रही है, that's where it all starts from, and that goes throughout your life. अब मैं आपको ये बात, like before we wrap up, I just want to tell that setting of boundaries basically, or steps to build boundaries, that would include how first it would start from knowing yourself, what your limits are, how you are as a person, what would make you uncomfortable, who are you,
Yeah.
what you're responsible and what you're not responsible for. As I said earlier, that if somebody, you are not responsible for other people's actions, you're not responsible for other people's choices, right? They are, if they are mentally capacitated, if they're adult, they are very well aware of choices that they're making. If they are intentionally or sabotaging the relationship, then that definitely fault is theirs. It's not yours, right? Just be aware of the boundary traps. Now, what are the boundary
Yeah.
traps? If you feel that your relationship identify you, so you're nobody on your own, you exist because of your partner, or you cannot do anything without your partner, definitely it's a boundary trap, right? Then if you are in a second relationship and your first relationship was not good, and you feel that, at least this relationship is better than the last one, so I have to make it work. No, you don't have to
Yeah.
make it work. If this one is abusive as well, or if this one is not respecting your boundaries either, right? So also your
Have to
partner,
step up out.
yeah,
Yes.
it's all about respect. And also, if you are giving preference or priority to your partner's goals and aspirations, there has to be a balance. There has to be a clear, healthy balance where both the partner's needs and wants are taken into consideration and given equal importance. If one is given more importance, definitely, again, it's a boundary trap. Also, sometimes when we love to act as a savior, and I said, when you want to rescue your partner or you feel the need to save them, it's basically you're trying to save yourself. This is how the whole psychological thing behind that is that you're in need of love and you're in a need of being accepted. So you feel that by being there for them, by saving them, you are basically indirectly or unintentionally, you're trying to save yourself. So yes, so be aware of boundaries, boundary traps, and that's where you start building healthy relationships.
True. So, Humaira, before we wrap this up, I think, by the way, we are being watched in India as well. Wow, we are geographically being watched all over this world at this time. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Hello, guys, and a big thank you to all for joining us for a live session. We are live with Humaira Falak, who has joined us from Calgary, Canada. So, Humaira, we have a question from Aman Khan. Okay, so his question. Let it be the last question here. Why one can't think beyond boundaries?
Aman, can you just clarify this a bit? Like, what do you exactly trying to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
because
Aman, are you there? Are you watching us? Can you elaborate on your question?
if
Well, he has
if while he
joined us.
yeah while
Well,
he's
I think we would generally want to ask why would one want to set ourselves boundaries at the very first
अगेन
place?
यही बात है कि एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग की बात है. ये बात नहीं है कि आप अनाउंस करते फिर रहे हैं कि यार ये मेरी बाउंड्रीज हैं, ये मेरी बाउंड्रीज है. रिलेशनशिप्स लाइक दैट,
Yeah, of course, you can't. Yeah, yeah, you can't. Yeah.
already it's an accepted understanding of other person's wants and again needs, or other person's boundaries. Sometimes you don't even have to say that. If you are wise, if you are a sane, mature adult, you would automatically respect your partner's boundaries, right? You don't even have to say that. The other person doesn't even have to tell you, and it goes both ways, right? So उसमें कहने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन हम कह इसलिए रहे हैं क्योंकि we are not even aware of these things. So that is why I said that we have to talk about these things to be aware of that. But yeah, you don't have to necessarily keep on saying it in a relationship.
I
Be
think Aman, this is what Aman would want to ask कि जरूरी नहीं है कि आप हर दफा आप एडवर्टाइज करते फिरें कि ओ आई हैव वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग बाउंड्रीज. मतलब वक्त आने पे आप लोगों को बस जहां पे आपको बताने की जरूरत है कि यार ये मेरी थोड़ी सी आई एम फीलिंग अ बिट अनईजी, तो ये बाउंड्री है, इसको आप क्रॉस ना करें बाय द वे. और हर किसी की और वरना एकदम से पीपल अमान बाय द वे इफ यू डोंट हैव बाउंड्रीज पीपल टेंड टू take advantage of you, misuse you, they don't value you, they don't value who you are. So it's very, very important. I've just commented that you might want to elaborate before we end our live session. So Humaira, I think we've had a great conversation, and let's keep this thing going from time to time, because I think whatever it is, it has to start at home. Charity begins at home, basically. And yes, Ahmed, we're wrapping up too. So he's writing. We'll catch up later on IGTV. So I think उसमें बहुत important एक ये भी take away था कि हमें setting boundaries. We should start at home with our own children, with people around us, and then it has to start. जो workplace में setting boundaries हैं, we need to listen to other people. We need to see that उनका boundaries क्या है, उसको हमने respect करनी है, and even in our personal life, we need to be clear if the other person is getting our space, is intruding our space, and is making us uneasy about the whole situation. So we need to be in clear communication with them as well.
Again, it all starts of conscious thinking, conscious
Yes.
action. That it's very important, even in the workplace. Maybe if there is a lack of awareness, training, we should have our and our the staff trained around this as to what and what's not in a relationship. Obviously it's something that again, it all goes back to healthy relationships, right? How healthy relationships work. And मैं ये कह सकती हूँ in a nutshell, there is no fear, there is no anxiety, there is no feeling of being suppressed in a healthy. These are the signs. If you are being afraid, if you're scared, if you feel that you're being suppressed, if you feel that you're not being heard, definitely that's not a healthy relationship. Healthy relationship is based on mutual respect. There has to be a balance both ways, and there has to be a very clear understanding both ways, and that's how it's going to work. So ये give and take का रिश्ता है, एक साइड से कोई भी relationship हो चल ही नहीं सकता है. So ये कराने की जरूरत है.
Of course, of course. Guys, we are live. If you have any questions, please type your questions, or else we are just wrapping it up and having a great Saturday night, morning, wherever, whatever your time zone is. So, do we have more questions?
I do commend you, and I want to thank you for, bringing up such topics and for talking about these much needed topics back home, because I feel that if you're not going to talk about them, if you will just keep on brushing them under the carpet, things won't change. And I'm sure that our younger generation, our youth, is very adaptable, very flexible, and willing to change. And this will definitely, you are doing great community work by bringing up such issues and topics, and I think we should continue doing that.
We should continue doing this because, guys, what we believe in कि अगर किसी को if somebody is carrying home one tip from this live session, अगर आप एक अच्छी बात अगर इस live session से अगर आपको पता चल जाए, so I think our job here is done. So, but Humaira, thank you so very much for being a part of this live session, and we should do more often because I think people around us need as much help as we did once. And of course, हम लोग human beings हैं यार, हम लोगों को भी help चाहिए. And talking about such issues openly, talking each other and sharing it with everybody around us, that is what we should be doing, because आजकल due to COVID and due to a lot of other issues, हम लोगों ने we have shut down our systems, we have shut down our mechanisms, we have shut down our defense mechanisms. हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा ना जो हो गए हैं, एक शेल में आ गए हैं. तो हमें उस शेल से बाहर निकलना है, and we need to think with an open heart and with an open mind and see that where the life takes us. So hi Rabia, you joined us. So having said that, Humaira, let's do this much more regular session. Guys, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Insta, and me and Humaira would like to do another session on this. And if you guys want us to talk about certain things, about certain level of issues that you want, topics that you want us to talk, please DM me. My Insta is KMahvash, of course. You can reach us on Facebook, whatsoever it is, and do keep liking. Do leave your comments in here on how what you think about this live session. What are the topics that you want us to talk? Leave us in the comments, and like us, and stay tuned to more such videos coming in. So hi Altamash. Altamash has joined us from Lahore. So Humaira, do you have anything to add before we sign off for the night?
Think we're good for now, and thank you everyone for joining and for watching, and I hope that you liked our conversation. If there is anything that you did not like, maybe that'll be good for our learning as well. You can totally share those with Mahvash, and maybe Mahvash, we can go
Comment,
over that
guys.
debrief as I always do after my meetings. But yeah, we would love to do this more often about the issues that you care and you feel that are important. We can totally discuss this together as a society, as a community. And yeah.
Yep. Yep, guys. So leave a comment for us. This video is going to be saved on my IGTV. So help to spread this word. If somebody needs to have a discussion on this, help to share this and spread the word. So here is Mahvash and Humaira. Both of us are signing off for the night. You guys, you guys stay tuned to much more awesome things. And my light just went out. So bye.
Oh, wow. That's good. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll sign off as well. Take care, Mahvash. So see you soon. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.